Welcome to Rouse Rising. I'm Katie, and on this channel, I share with you all about holistic homemaking. I am a mama to 5 kids, and I love to cook for them nourishing meals. In today's video, we are going to be using up some of the squash and zucchini harvest in some delicious recipes that I am making in this week's meal prep video. So we are going to have sheet pancakes with zucchini. We're also going to have some vegetable fritters. I've got a new bread recipe that's not going to have zucchini or squash, so we're going to start with that first. I've been dairy-free for many years, so I haven't used dairy in my bread in a long time, but the kids eat the bread now, and I am gluten-free. And I found this amazing recipe from Lindsay Darnell on Instagram, so I'm going to share that with you today. This is my first time making it. She says you can just dump it all into your bread machine, hit start, and go about your day. So that is what I'm going to do. Now, typically with my bread machine, I have to go back and scrape it down, but on this day I did not do that, and you were going to see the result of me not scraping down my Zojirishi bread machine. So I started out with some canned milk because I have a bunch up in my pantry that I need to use. So I figure I can use up this canned milk in the bread recipes. So we started out with 2 cups of that. I then added an egg, 3 tablespoons of sugar, 2 teaspoons of salt. We are also going to add in a half a cup of oil. I'm using coconut oil because at room temperature in my home right now, it is liquid, so it's perfect to use in all of my recipes. And then we're going in with 4 cups of bread flour. In the top of the bread flour, I'm gonna make a little hole, and I'm gonna add 1.5 teaspoons. I probably went closer to 2, but 1.5 teaspoons of yeast. And I'm also gonna add to this recipe, because you know I can't just leave a recipe alone. I always have to go and be extra. So we're adding the extra whole hemp seeds just to throw in some additional protein for my kiddos. I try to pack in protein and healthy fats anywhere I can. So that is what you are seeing here. We are going to pop this into the bread machine. We're going to bake it on our basic loaf setting. This is set for wheat bread. And we're going to hit start, and we are ready to go. This is quick loaf, medium crust. 2 hours and 18 minutes, it will be ready. There we are. We're going to get this out of this bread pan and do a little inspection, let it cool off, and then we are going to slice into it. I did not scrape down the sides of my bread machine, so that's why you see, normally I do. Normally I go in like 30 minutes after it starts mixing and I scrape down the sides, but I didn't do that this time, so there's like some...
It's beautiful.
Everything else is fine, but that's just that. So we're going to slice into it and see what it looks like. This is that one recipe vegan that I made the other day.
Ooh, that looks good.
Yeah, it's a new recipe I'm making. Alright, and that's perfect crumb. Perfect sandwich bread. Perfect. So I like to make what I call, and I might not be correct on this, but I make vegetable fritters. And right here we have a zucchini and a squash shredded up. It's about 3.5 cups of that. And you can season it however you want to, but I'm doing a combination of salt. We've got some onion powder here. We've got some garlic powder. Paprika has been a favorite lately. A little bit of parsley. We're going to do nutritional yeast in here as well. I might do some seasoned salt. I don't know, probably not. And then we're going to use the 1-to-1 flour. And where this really gets its flavor though is the nutritional yeast. Instead of adding cheese, I make it with nutritional yeast. And these are really good. We just smear a bit of mayonnaise on top or whatever type of sauce you like. They're like little vegetable pancakes. For this recipe, I started out with pretty much as much vegetables as you want, but I fine grate them into a bowl. And I said earlier, I have about 3 cups here. So I'm adding, let's see how many eggs I end up adding. Right now I've got 3 in there. It looks like I'm going to stop with 3 eggs. So maybe I'm going to do 1 egg to each cup of vegetable that we have. We'll use that ratio. And the vegetables are going to produce plenty of liquid, so we're not going to need too much liquid aside from what we have here. I'm using the 1-to-1 flour, and I'm going in with about 2 cups of that. And then I would say that's about 1/4 teaspoon of paprika, about 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, about 10 grinds of pepper, some Redmond's real salt, and we're also going to do 2 teaspoons of baking soda. And the nutritional yeast that we're going to add, I'm going to end up adding more later, so it ends up coming out to about 1/2 cup of nutritional yeast. So we're mixing all of this up, and you'll see me go in with the additions again. You're aiming for a pancake batter, but maybe a little bit thicker than that consistency. And so when you put this in the pan, you're just going to have to kind of mash it down. So I have made sourdough English muffins before with you all on this channel. I do have a recipe there. So it's similar consistency to that. And these can be sliced and used as buns, or like you would use an English muffin, that sort of thing. So we actually use these for breakfast this morning as liver sandwiches. So we put some liver and some mayonnaise on these, and it was amazing. They were so delicious. That is another way that we get liver into our diet. And then I'm also going to show you, we had some leftover liver that I snuck into one of the next meals that I'm going to be making with you all in this video. So if you're looking for creative ways to get nutrient dense foods into your children's diets, there's a few of my kids that did not eat liver on this morning, so I found a way to incorporate the portions that would have been theirs. They prefer not to eat liver straight up like the rest of the family does, and that's totally fine, no pressure there. But when we hide it in other food, they don't even notice it, and it's not a big deal to them that we hide it in the food. It's just better off that they don't know. You know, sneaky, but after the fact, we always say, yeah, there was liver in that. And they're like, oh, I didn't even taste it. So that's one way that we get it into their diet and adjust their palate to liking those kinds of foods. So you're going to have to incorporate those foods into their diets in little quantities and build up a taste tolerance and build up an appreciation for those foods. And that's how we've done it. We've also started most of our children from about 8 months on with baby-led weaning, and we incorporate liver and egg yolks as the first food.
Say food.
Oh yeah, liver. What's that?
Liver.
And what's the other thing?
It's rainy.
All right, we got the fans on, the windows open. We're trying to beat the heat, but we made chili. So is that an oxymoron? I don't know. It's delicious. We've got it with gluten-free cornbread, some rice, and yeah, I'm gonna show you how I made it all. This is a go to your pantry, see what you have, and throw it in a pot. So we have some tri-colored beans, some corn, tomatoes. We are going to make a chili with whatever we have, and we're not even going to use chili seasoning. We're going to be using homemade taco seasoning. So I guess this is like a taco chili, is what we'll call it. We have some peppers that we got on sale from Fred Meyer's. We're going to chop those up and throw those in the pot as well. We've got half of a very large onion we're going to throw in there. And because this isn't a very strict recipe, we're going to be adding fine shredded yellow squash to this in a little bit, as well as some fine diced liver to this chili recipe. We're just going to dice everything up really fine and small, and nobody's even going to know. They're not going to know. When I make this cornbread recipe, I always add the milk first to my corn just to get that soaking well before I dive into the rest of the ingredients. So we're going to get that mixed up and we're going to set it aside. And we're going to assemble everything else in a separate bowl and then add it to our corn flour or cornmeal milk ingredients. This recipe beats any box cornbread recipe any day. It's amazing. It's delicious. This one's a little bit thick. I probably should have added a little bit of extra milk to it. I think I was heavy-handed on the cornmeal, but we're just going to roll with it. We're going to smear this around in this hot cast iron skillet. I probably should not have started out with it hot because it made the bottom a little bit tough with the cornbread, but that's okay. It was still delicious. So next time I'll just put it in a cast iron skillet and throw it in the oven. The chili we are going to mix up, and I am going to serve all of this food to my family. I love serving my family. It brings me lots of joy. So I just serve them up and we are all going to sit down and enjoy this lovely meal together. All right, this morning we are making sheet pancakes. This is the basic recipe if you want to screenshot this. But in addition to this, today I am going to be adding a zucchini. I'm going to add some cinnamon as well. And so I'm trying to use up all the zucchini and squash that my neighbor gave me. And I have lots of recipes to do that. The fritters, now this sheet pancake, this does have bananas in it too. Zucchini goes really well with bananas. So I will show you the final product. We are headed out of town, so I'm trying to get the kitchen all tied up, get all the food packed up, get all the dishes washed, get the ice maker dried and cleaned out, as well as about 50 million other things. We finally got the kids to a point where we could let them sit down and watch TV. I think they have a movie on, I'm not sure what Aaron played for them, but that's keeping them busy enough so that I can get some stuff done, so Aaron can get the rest of his packing and stuff done. And then we're gonna hit the road. I'm not sure when we're gonna go, but we're gonna maybe run by the grocery store, maybe not. And then I'll share with you what we pick up from the grocery store on this trip, as well as like some of the stuff we're eating. A lot of it I'm trying to bring from home. convenience foods so I can take it easy. Stuff that I've been buying over the last couple months and put in the freezer.